Welcome back to the Ed Show. Democrats have come out swinging against Mitt Romney's offshore bank accounts. Here's Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley.
The relevance is this, that Governor Romney can't claim that his state actually was great at creating jobs when he was governor, so he's fallen back and said, look, vote for me. I was a businessman. I created jobs. You want to talk about going the way of Europe? What went the way of Europe were the Swiss bank accounts and the American dollars that Mitt Romney stuffed in that offshore Swiss bank account.
And this is key in this campaign. Mitt Romney has never been critically questioned by any journalist as to why he has money over there. What's wrong with American investment? What's wrong with American jobs? This guy's running around the country telling everybody he's a job creator, yet his real wealth is overseas. Why is that? Any American who has money overseas, it's only for one reason, and that is to be as wealthy as you possibly can be. Senior Obama campaign advisor Robert Gibbs said Romney's offshoring issues can be cleared up only by releasing more tax returns.
The one thing he could do, Candy, to clear up whether or not he's done anything illegal, whether he's shielding his income from taxes in Bermuda or Switzerland, is to do what every other presidential candidate's done, and that's release a series of years of their own tax returns.
And I think we got to be very clear about this. This isn't something that's been ginned up by the Obama campaign. This follows a week of more news reports about Romney's offshore accounts. Does that relate to average Americans? Do you have offshore accounts? The Romney campaign spokeswoman said this. The Obama campaign's latest unfounded character assault on Mitt Romney is unseemingly and disgusting. Mitt Romney had a successful career in the private sector, pays every dime of taxes he owes, has given generously to charitable organizations, and served numerous causes greater than himself. Okay, good statement. But the fact remains, this is a man running for president of the United States who seems to like offshore bank accounts, does he not? Here's Illinois Senator Dick Durbin.
He is the first and only candidate for president of the United States with a Swiss bank account, with tax shelters, with tax avoidance schemes that involve so many foreign countries. Okay. You either get a Swiss bank account to conceal what you're doing, or you believe the Swiss franc is stronger than the American dollar.
Let's turn to Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin of Illinois. Senator, good to have you with us tonight. Appreciate your time. This is abnormal. You pointed that out. Do you think the American people are okay with this, or is this a real issue?
It's a real issue. And let's put it in perspective. Who set the standard for income disclosure of presidential candidates? Mitt Romney's father. Mitt Romney's father filed 12 years of income tax returns and said this ought to be the standard. How many years of income tax returns has Mitt Romney, his son, filed? One. Well, it's the least amount of disclosure of any presidential candidate of either political party in the last 36 years.
So it's tax avoidance, or is it Romney just not trusting American banks and the American currency? What do you think it is?
Ed, I'm serious. I have asked business leaders, I have asked Republican senators, I asked Warren Buffett the following question. Why would anybody need a Swiss bank account? Warren Buffett said, I've never had one. I think we've got a lot of great banks in America. But, you know, they basically say the same thing. There are two reasons to have a Swiss bank account: to conceal your wealth and transactions involving your wealth from government scrutiny, number one, or number two, because you happen to think the Swiss franc is a stronger currency than the United States dollar. And I might remind you, Mitt Romney made his decisions on moving money into Switzerland when there was a Republican president.
Today, Romney said the offshore investments are in a blind trust. His comment was, I don't manage them. I don't even know where they are. Is this an adequate response?
No, and let me tell you why. When he was badgered by his fellow Republican opponents in the course of the primary, he finally released 1 year's tax return. That's it. That's all we've seen. 1 year. And they were able to trace this Sankaty, which is a private corporation blind trust that his family owns. Listen to this, Ed. The day before he was sworn in as governor of Massachusetts, he transferred the money in this Sankaty organization into a blind trust in his wife's name in some foreign tax haven.
No coincidence there?
So it wouldn't have to be reported.
No coincidence there? Just happened to be the day before he was sworn in?
Yes. And so it's never been disclosed.
Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, the average American has to ask himself, Why would we stand for a person running for the highest office in the land concealing important elements of their own investment decisions?
So is this
he
the way
says he's a great businessman?
So, Senator Durbin, is this the way it's going to be all the way up to the election, that we're going to know very little about the Republican candidate's finances and where his money is, and he tells the American public he doesn't know where they are, it's managed by somebody else?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's taken on some water on that little boat when it comes to disclosure at this point, because Americans are skeptical of this.
All right, you are sponsoring a bill to reduce tax haven abuse.
Here's what it boils down to. Al Franken and I put in a bill several months ago, and it says this: on the financial disclosure forms for all members of Congress, for all candidates for president and vice president, you have to specifically disclose whether or not you or anyone in your family is invested in foreign tax havens to avoid taxes in the United States. I think that's a very basic question that should be asked not just of Mitt Romney, but of all members of Congress, and all candidates for president.
Do you think that Mitt Romney is abusing the American tax system and not paying his fair share?
I don't know. I wouldn't draw that conclusion. I'd say to him, present the evidence. Show us what you've done. Have you paid your fair share of taxes? Have you handled your financial affairs as a businessman and a person of wealth in a manner that's responsible?
Senator Dick Durbin, good to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Ed.
Coming up, the Republicans are coming unhinged. Find out why they're ramping up the attack on President Obama when we come back. And the 1% came out in droves this weekend to support Mitt Romney. Keith Boykin, Ron Christie, and John Fugelsang will weigh in on the Republicans' fundraising taking place in the Hamptons over the weekend. Stay with us. We're right back.